felt really stuck this week. I want to make something, but I'm not sure what I want to say. And if it isn't clear to me, then maybe I shouldn't say anything at all and go do other things like clean the kitchen. Sometimes when I sit down to write, the words just don't come. Multiple times this week, I've sat down to write only to find that my mind was blank and I couldn't seem to string two coherent sentences together. So I would get up, sit outside in the sun, all the while waiting for that spark of inspiration, because without some kind of divine intervention that moves me to write, then I'll never be able to create my masterpiece. This masterpiece, of course, is nonsense, rubbish, codswallop. If I wait to be struck by inspiration every time I want to create something, then I'll be waiting forever and it won't actually make anything. I think that's why I've started so many artistic endeavors but never followed through with them. My projects tend to have the same trajectory. I get really excited about it, have tons of motivation since it's so new and shiny and I put so much energy and time in, and then it slowly loses steam and eventually comes to a halt. Then a few months or years go by and something new and shiny comes up and the cycle repeats itself. But nothing ever sticks. Part of it is because I like to do a lot of things, so finding a niche felt limiting to me. Part of it is that outside of school, I never learned how to create that type of discipline for an art practice. So I've been on this quest to learn more about being a creative and how to make it my life's work. So on this quest, I've tried to break some old habits and start new ones. I've tried to replace a lot of my doom scrolling and true crime listening with podcasts about creativity and Substack newsletters from artists I admire. I have found so much solace in these Substack newsletters from all of these different artists. It is one of my new favorite places to be inspired. The biggest lesson I've learned is about giving myself grace. That our creativity ebbs and flows, that sometimes we're creating a ton and our brains are exploding with inspiration and creation, and sometimes we're in more of a winter season that's about rest and recharging. That regardless of the season we are in, structure always helps. That's why setting up a daily creative practice is so important to me. But I used to fight so much against structure because I wanted the freedom to create what I wanted when I wanted. I thought that's what being an artist was all about, the freedom. But days, weeks, and months went by and I wouldn't create anything. So what kind of artist am I if I was just consuming but not creating? But no more. I've been gathering new art supplies over the last few months and watching tutorials on YouTube, finding inspiration on Pinterest. At some point while I was scouring the internet for inspiration, I came across the 100-Day Project. I first learned about this years ago when I was reading lots of crafty blogs, and I've wanted to do it since I learned about it, but I've never actually made the time or effort to do so. So this year, I'm going to do it. The 100-Day Project was created by a teacher at Yale who had a class where students had to pick one design element and repeat it for 100 days and document it. Then at the end of the 100 days, they would share their projects. Elle Luna, who is a designer, painter, and writer, came across this class and decided to do the project herself with some friends and shared it on social media, and it blew up. Now it's facilitated by a different artist, Lindsay Jean Thompson, and it's become a global community of people who do the project every year and commit to creating something every day for 100 days. So this year, the project starts on February 23rd. If you find this video after the 23rd, you can really start whenever. One of the great things about the 100-Day Project is that the rules are made up. So you can really do whatever you want when you want. You can do a 100-Day Project later in the year. You can do a 100-Day Project whenever. They just choose a date every year to have it and that you can follow along with other people and create this community. There is a podcast and a newsletter that Lindsay Jean Thompson facilitates. So I will link both of those things in the description below if you want to join the project or if you just want to follow along or just learn more about it. I'm really excited to be committing to this project this year. I will be documenting my progress through and process throughout 100 days, both on Instagram, and it'll show up here on my weekly vlogs. So for my project, I'm going to be working on art journaling, and I'm going to be working on a page a day. So every morning I'm just going to get up, I'm going to make some coffee, I'm going to sit down here at my workspace and just do a page that will be based off of a tarot card that I pull every morning, just to kind of take the pressure off of myself to come up with ideas every day. Shuffle the tarot deck, I'll pull a card, and then I'll create an art journal page that is inspired by that card. And I'm going to be using a journal that I made a couple of years ago. I'm actually really excited to use this journal. The paper inside is Arches text wove paper. It's just a really beautiful fibrous paper. It does really well with inks, but I'm excited to see how it does with paint and just other kind of mediums that I'll be working on. It's a good size. I tend to overwhelm myself. I tend to want to go all in on something. This is pretty small. So if I just do a page every day that will be mixed media, collage, paint, ink, whatever I'm drawn to that day, whatever I want to play with. That's the main thing about this project. I really just want to focus on play. I have a lot of new art supplies that I just want to see what kind of marks they make. So I'm just really excited to play and see what comes up. I made this the 100-day project for 2025 that I want to glue on the cover. And I also made a tracker. The facilitator, Lindsay Jean Thompson, sent us a printout tracker that we can use. And so this was inspired by it, but I just used a bunch of my watercolors and went through all the different colors and kind of used it as a swatch too, just to see what the colors look like. So I'll mark off a circle for every day that I make something. That will help me just keep track of everything over the 100 days. Even if you only do 3 days of the project, you still did something. 3 days is better than none at all. The community seems very welcoming and very kind and supportive. So it'll be fun to just engage with everybody and see what other people are doing. I've already kind of searched on social media about the 100-day project to see what other people have done in the past, what other people have come up with. And people are amazing. People are so creative. And you can really do anything. I chose art journaling because it's a practice that I want to cultivate. I have wanted to do more visual journaling for decades, for all of my life. And I love collage and I love layers and stamps and all kinds of different things. The main pieces of advice that people give is to simplify as best you can and really set up your space, get your tools out, get what you need ready for you. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just create a really low barrier of entry. Very little friction for you to be able to get this done. I definitely need to tidy up my workspace. I really wanted to make this kind of my sacred space so that I just am in the routine every day of getting up, making coffee, pulling a card, and getting to work. Document it along the way and see what the process is like. I've never really done anything like this before, and I've never really cultivated an art practice that I'm doing every day. So I'm really excited to see how things shift for me, how the project goes every day. Newsletter too offers daily prompts to give you inspiration and to keep you going. There's a Substack newsletter. There's the Instagram community. There's a group on Facebook. There's just a really large community built around this and built around supporting one another. So what I still need to do before Sunday, I want to get a title on my tracker. I need to glue my cover to the front of my journal that I'm going to be using. And I need to tidy up my workspace and make sure that I have everything that I need to be ready to go on Sunday. I'm finally learning how to show up for myself on a daily basis and how important it is, especially when my mind feels blank or I'm feeling uninspired. We won't ever do any of this perfectly, and we need to give ourselves more grace, more kindness. Some days we're going to create stuff that we're really proud of, and it's just going to feel good. And some days are going to feel like crap. But either way, all we can do is start from where we are and keep showing up for ourselves. I promise you, your future self will thank you.